In the last video, I talked about how NVC has brought me to a consciousness of human needs and how this brings me closer to a sense of living life in a meaningful way, living life in a way that feels like I'm on track, which doesn't burn a hole in my heart and make me feel like something is terribly wrong. I've also found that this helps me live in a more harmonious way. It's more functional. It avoids conflict and connects me with myself and others. Needs are a funny thing. If you think from a very atheistic, Darwinistic perspective, as I did when I was a teenager searching for the meaning of life, it seems like only survival and reproduction is what makes any kind of logical sense. And so, according to this theory, no one would ever do something altruistic or not in some way connected to survival and reproduction, except that isn't our experience. We know that to really be ourselves, to really be happy, we need to play. We need inner peace. We need to laugh. We need to love each other. And sometimes these activities do not contribute to our survival or our reproduction. Many people choose not to reproduce because they feel like that would increase the load, the pressure that's depleting our resources on the planet. There are people who give their lives for a cause, who fight in wars because they believe that it is protecting their whole country, or because they're on the side of freedom or democracy. Whether or not this is true is another question, but they believe it, and that's at least a large part of their motivation many times. So, how do you make this calculation? 10% risk of dying in this war is worth 150 units of democracy. Firstly, there is no unit of democracy. Secondly, if there was, there would be no way of weighing it against a chance of dying in any kind of meaningful way. So, how do you make this kind of calculation, for want of a better word? Let me start with the point that we do make this calculation. We do decide oftentimes to weigh our need for play against our need for making our job more stable by taking extra hours on the job to please our boss. Ultimately, that's about our safety. So we're weighing play against safety. And how do we do that? It's not a thinking mind rational process, but we do it. So it follows, in my mind at least, that we can get better at doing this and make decisions that are more effective. And we can measure the effectiveness of these decisions by the signals we get from our emotional system. So if we are happy, if we are deeply happy and peaceful and content, and there's not like this niggling undercurrent of something is not quite right, then we know we're on track. And if there is something, maybe it's a small thing, maybe you're mostly happy, but there's a little something, you feel it in your chest, you can investigate. And you discover the feeling quality of the need underneath it. And I know that when I go inwards and I really feel kind of the weight and the quality and the scale of a need, and if I also have another need present and I feel the weight of that, then I can make a decision about what to weigh against what. And I can get my rational thinking mind in there at some point, but it needs to start from a non-thinking, feeling place. Now, what's interesting is that I have discovered more and more through NVC that we're kind of microcosms of a social macrocosm. And what goes on inside of us, the weighing of two needs, can also happen between two people. And that process can even happen on a larger scale between organizations, between groups in society. But between two people, for example, say one person really is wanting more lightness, more fun in their life. For example, an employee. And someone else, for example, their boss, is really concerned about the functioning of the organization that they're working in. And ultimately that comes down to their desire to create something beautiful for the world. Make a little money while doing it too. But like making money in a way where they feel good, not like stealing money. So if they really investigate, what's really strong for them is that they want this organization to work because they make a good product. They make the world a better place. So the employee says, "Boss, I want to work fewer hours. I enjoy my job here. At the same time, I've got beautiful wife and kids, and we just want to have another day off each week to go do fun things at the lake, or days out to the museum, or just putting on music and dancing like fools in our living room." And the boss says, "Nope." Or the boss says, if the boss has been studying NVC, maybe the boss says, "Wow, yeah, I hear you. I see the beauty of that." At the same time, there's this discomfort in me because I've been so stressed recently, and I'm seeing just how much work goes into making this organization run smoothly. And I'm not sure if we can make it happen. How is that for you to hear? And then the employee says, "Well, boss, I'm scared at the moment because I don't have the experience of getting hurt as much as I'd like. And I'm worried, I'm really worried that you're not seeing just how big of a deal this is for me." And it can go on like that. But in this case, because both of these people are using MVC, which makes it a lot easier if there's some agreement about that, if, as they're both using NVC, they're bringing up their feelings, they're bringing up their needs, and they're doing it in a way that connects with that feeling experience of the need, where it's like you feel it, like you hear that this person wants to play more in their life, to have more time with their family. You can almost feel it in your chest, like what the quality of that longing is. And that feels really connecting, and it gets you right there in the present moment in connection. And when you've got that, then the process I talked to you about earlier, where you're weighing up the two needs inside of yourself, you can do that in connection with another person, and you're both weighing up each other's needs. And something happens that is beyond the thinking, rational mind. Again, you can bring in the rational mind at some point. You can make the strategies and you can, break it down into concrete steps or whatever. But in the first moment, what happens is a sense of almost embodied, tangible, somatic sensing of what matters. And you feel how it matters to play, and you feel how it matters to contribute to society. And there's a respect, almost a sacredness, for both of these things at once. From that place, beautiful things can happen, almost magically, almost spontaneously, kind of just, you're like, this is the way that life can best be served.